Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. My name is Natea and this is Nesthetics, bringing you content that is aesthetic, authentic, and all about activism. So today's topic's about how college harms the Black community economically. So, as I said in the title, this is just a rant. Don't take any of my opinions as facts. These are just my opinions. And I just wanted to start doing more videos where I'm just like ranting, because like usually a lot of my videos are structured with the things that I want to say, but then there's a lot of topics that I just really want to rant about. So this is a topic I want to rant about, and I thought it was important coming from me because, like, as someone who's about to go to grad school and earn a master's degree, has already earned a bachelor's degree, this usually wouldn't come from someone like me, you would think, but I have my thoughts and opinions on how college harms the Black community economically. So, first off, I want to say that college is not for everyone. So, and specifically, like in this video, I am speaking to the Black community too. Just want to say that. But like, I think that college is not for everyone, and like you can pursue your dreams or do whatever you want to do without having to go to college. Even though like a lot of jobs do require a college degree, if you know that, then yes, maybe you do need to go to college. Like if you want to be a doctor, a lawyer, etc., like yeah, you need to get your degree. But if you know your career path and you know what you want to do, you know what you're passionate about, then go for it. And if it doesn't require a college degree, then just go for it. I feel like you shouldn't need to have those credentials and have a college degree in order to say that you are knowledgeable in the field that you're passionate about. So, it's everyone's life decision and everyone's choice based on what they want to do in their career and what they want to do with their life if they need to go to college. Because I feel like everybody does not need to waste debt and go into so much debt just to get a college degree. Because for me, like, I put on so much debt just going to college and I hate it. Like, I hate it here. Like, I don't like being in debt. And yes, like, I am undebting myself right now, and I've learned a lot about generational wealth, which I'll get into soon in this video. But like, I don't think college is worth the debt at all. Like, and that's why I say college harms the Black community economically, because it's just like, oh, we have so many Black folks with PhDs now, but it's like, how many of those PhD Black folks have so much debt? So it's like we're literally going into a cycle, because one, when Black folks, I feel like when a lot of Black folks do get their degrees, they get a PhD, they get a master's degree, even a bachelor's, how many times do we see Black folks going back and reinvesting in their communities? And it's like, it's going to college isn't really elevating us economically. And when I say economically, I'm thinking about generational wealth, and I'm thinking about neighborhood revitalization, because a lot of our Black neighborhoods, they are segregated. They lack a lot of resources. You don't find grocery stores. You don't find decent hospitals or decent stores or anything like that in Black neighborhoods. And I really feel like economically, if we were elevated, our neighborhoods would be elevated as well, and we would be generating generational wealth. And also, I know there's a statistic out there that like the wealth of Black folks now, like the wealth gap, the Black-white wealth gap, is just as wide as it was many years ago. So it's like all these Black folks are getting degrees and going to college now, but it's like we still in the same place with the wealth gap, even though like Black folks do have more opportunities to different jobs now that they have these degrees. We're still down economically. And when I thought about this topic, this made me think about the debate between Booker T. Washington and W.E.B. Du Bois. So there is a debate between them where they discuss how they feel like the Black community and Black folks could elevate themselves. So I'm going to read a little bit about what both of them said and their opposing viewpoints on how to elevate the Black community. So on one hand, I can't remember what year this debate was, but I'm going to put it on the screen whenever this debate was. But Booker T. Washington, he was born in 1856 and he died in 1915. But his philosophy, and I'll put where I got this information in the description box, the link, so if you want to read it yourself, His philosophy was self-help, racial solidarity, and accommodation. He urged Blacks to accept discrimination for the time being and concentrate on elevating themselves through hard work and material prosperity. He believed in education in the crafts, industrial, and farming skills, and the cultivation of the virtues of patience, enterprise, and thrift. This, he said, would win the respect of whites and lead to African Americans being fully accepted as citizens and integrated into all strata of society. Now, I'll get into my thoughts about that after I read W.E.B. Du Bois' opposing view. So W.E.B. Du Bois, he was born in 1868 and he died in 1963. So there is a little bit of an age gap between the two. But Du Bois advocated political action and a civil rights agenda because he did help found the NAACP. In addition, he argued that social change could be accomplished by developing the small group of college-educated Blacks he called the talented 10th. So W.E.B. Du Bois thought that Booker T. Washington's view and strategy would only support and perpetuate white oppression. And I definitely agree with that. So, like, Booker T. Washington, his belief in, like, you know, Black folks elevating themselves through hard work and prosperity, that's not going to work. That's not going to, like he said, win the respect of whites. And, like, why are we trying to win the respects of whites in the first place? Like, why are we trying to do that? But one thing that Booker T. Washington did say that I do kind of, I don't agree with, but I do, I think I have, I just have some thoughts on is he talks about like how Blacks, you know, going into trades. He wasn't like really advocating for college like W.E.B. Du Bois was. So Booker T. Washington was more so like, you know, Blacks going into trade, getting farming skills, industrial skills, you know, things like that. Because there are like different trading schools. There are different trades. You know, you can go into different trades like plumbing, construction, etc. So many different trades. And you can actually make a good amount of money. You don't really have to go to college for them, or you can go to like community college or go to a college and get like a certificate, get, you know, your license, whatever, and you're done. Like, it doesn't cost that much money to go into a trade, and then you're already like making your money. So I think it's interesting that like Booker T. Washington told Black folks to go into a trade. I think this is actually a smart idea if you want to go into a trade though. Like, if you want to do construction, if you want to be a plumber, you want to go into a trade, don't go to school, a 4-year education, get a 4-year education and, you know, go into debt just so you could do that. Like, go to your community college. And I feel like we should not, you know, look down on community college or even online school. Okay, everybody was in Zoom University who was in college this past year. So I know before, like, people were looking at online school as like not as legit, but no, it's legit. If you know, it works better with your schedule, it works better with your finances to go to online school or go to community college, it's the same credits. You learn the same thing, okay? Go there and save your money. But, you know, I think that's really interesting to go into a trade because trades, they make a lot of money. And you're not going into any debt if you going into a trade and you didn't have to pay that much for your education to go into this trade. And then as you get further and further into your career, then, you know, you make more money. So I kind of not agree, but I see where Booker T. Washington is coming from with this, but I don't agree with him like trying to earn the respect of white folks through material prosperity and all of that. Like, no, we're never going to earn the respect of white folks, no matter how high our education is, no matter how much money we're making. We still niggas at the end of the day to white folks, and that's just the truth. So now into W.E.B. Du Bois' debate. So he said that, you know, he was an advocate for college, Black folks going to college, and social change could be accomplished by developing the small group of college-educated Blacks he called the talented 10th. So basically, the talented 10th was like the 10th, like 10% of African Americans who had like higher professional educational degrees, and they were going to lead the Black community and the masses, you know, and help elevate our community. But the thing is, like, we don't see that. Like, it's just, I mean, I don't know how other like Black folks can get a higher degree and then just forget about their community. Like for me, like the work that I want to do, like outside of YouTube, like I want to do a lot of community engagement work and actually do a lot of neighborhood revitalization. So this upcoming fall, I will be getting a master's degree in urban studies. I think that's what I'm gonna get at least, but I'm actually still deciding this between grad schools, but I applied for urban planning and urban studies programs. So that mostly looks at neighborhoods and look at like land use, because there's a lot of laws on like how land is used, what can go where and what neighborhoods. There's reasons why like there aren't grocery stores in Black neighborhoods and in segregated communities. So with my degree, like with my master's degree, going into that and looking at like economic development and looking at urban cities and look at how they're developed, I want to redevelop Black communities. And even for my senior thesis for my undergraduate degree in criminal justice, I did my senior thesis on Milwaukee Black health and how segregation impacts the health negatively of Black residents. So, like I was saying, the talented tenth that W.E.B. Du Bois is talking about, the Black folks that do get their degrees, get their PhDs, you do not see them going into Black communities and reinvesting in our communities. And I don't want to be like that. Like I actually want to be a Black professional who goes in and actually tries to revitalize our communities. Because like I feel like when Black folks, when we start making so much money or if we become millionaires and billionaires, we don't see money going back into our communities like that. Like, yeah, millionaires and billionaires might, give their money to different charitable organizations or do certain things, but it's like I don't be seeing it. Like I don't be seeing like where this is going, because if our Black white wealth gap is still so large and our neighborhoods still looking the same, like how are we economically being elevated? Like how? Like, and even if you are a Black millionaire and you are giving to charitable like Black organizations, like you are still feeding into Black capitalism. Like you're still a capitalist. So I don't know. It's like try to redistribute your wealth so that like it actually helps our communities. Like I would like to see that from more like Black millionaires and billionaires and Black professionals who have PhDs. And I understand like Black professionals, they gotta take care of themselves first. Like if you got debt, then you gotta undebt yourself and then you can reinvest in communities if you can. But not even that. Like you can still reinvest into communities even if you don't have a lot of money. Because that's what I do. Like with my t-shirts and my merch that I'm selling, like I reinvested or I gave to organizations that are doing grassroots on the ground work. Like the first organization I gave to was in the Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas area, and they were helping like Black and Latinx people recover from like the winter storm and all the things like that. And then the next group for the spring, I was given to this organization called We the People, which is a Black-led organization that's helping young folks become activists and leaders in their community. So it's like, not gonna lie, like I am nowhere near like making hella money like from merch or anything like that. But yeah, I'm still trying to reinvest into Black communities. So it's like, I feel like there's no excuse for Black professionals and Black folks who have higher degrees and Black folks who are millionaires and billionaires to not reinvest their money into Black communities. And I feel like Black folks should have an obligation to reinvest in their communities, because for me, it don't feel good for me to be up here. I'm a millionaire and a billionaire, but yet my people struggling. Like for me, I empathize with that. If Black folks are struggling, I don't want them to be struggling. Like I want our communities to thrive. Like even though I'm doing good, I can't just separate myself from that just because I'm not in that income, category anymore. So I don't know, with W.E.B. Du Bois, like he was onto something, with Blacks going to college, but like at the same time, that's putting a lot of Black folks in debt. And this talented 10 thing, I don't think it exists because it's like I don't see the 10% of Black folks who do have professional degrees who are reinvesting into Black communities. And plus, usually when you do get a PhD, you usually like are a researcher or you work at like a university or something like that. So it's not like I don't know, unless you're doing outside work where you are reinvesting into communities. But yeah, I don't necessarily agree with either W.E.B. Du Bois or Booker T. Washington with that. I feel like for me personally, I think that Black folks, we need to revitalize our own communities because we can't rely on white folks or our allies to do it for us. Yes, they can help, but it's like you cannot rely on non-Black folks to do that. Non-Black folks are not going to be invested in our communities as we are because it's our communities. Like non-Black folks, they're like, oh, that's not my community. I don't really care. Like they could easily be like that. But I feel like it's up to us Black folks to reinvest in our communities and to uplift ourselves economically the best way that we can, reinvesting in our communities and redistributing our wealth as well as much as we can, and also not feeding into Black capitalism, because that's another rant that I'm gonna probably do. Like Kanye, I know recently, maybe a month or so ago, he, I guess, is a billionaire now, but like, what is that doing for our community? Like, I think that what's his name? What's his name? People don't really like him. Dr. Umar Johnson. Yeah, I know not a lot of people agree with all the stuff that he says, but like he was in an interview with Nick Cannon. I think he was talking about, and I'll insert the clip, about how Black folks, we see like different acknowledgments and achievements as our communities elevated. Like Kanye becoming a billionaire, all of a sudden we think that our community is elevated. Barack Obama becoming the first Black president, oh, our community is elevating, like the Black community is thriving. Like, no, just because Black folks, we are doing these things, these achievements, that's not doing anything for our communities. Like, Kanye becoming a billionaire ain't doing nothing for Black communities. Barack Obama, you know, he tried to do stuff for the Black community, but him becoming president or anybody becoming president don't necessarily do nothing for the Black community. You even see that with Joe Biden and Kamala Harris right now.
There's no solution outside of teamwork. Any solution we come up with must be implemented systematically by way of the group. It cannot be individualism. Right. So, for example, you'll hear people say, according to Forbes or according to the New York Times, there's 100 new Black millionaires in America as of 2020, right? Right. A Negro who's politically uneducated will say that's a good thing. Right. There's 100 more Black millionaires. But there's 50 million Black people in America. Right. And very few of those 100 Black millionaires are trying to reinvest any of that capital into systematic improvements for the race. So how can you say Black people are doing better because Obama got elected? How can you say Black people are doing better because him and her are millionaires now? No, you judge group progress based on the average quality of life for all members of that race, not a few Negro aristocrats. Right. But in America, they have convinced Black people that progress for the Negro aristocracy means progress for the group, and that is incorrect.
Yeah, they say what Black wealth today is the same as it was when slavery ended.
Absolutely, when you compare it to what white folks have. Yeah. In fact, in many respects, we've lost ground.
Yeah, like Black folks, we're the only ones who can reinvest and revitalize our communities. For me and my work, after I get my master's degree, maybe I'll get a PhD as well, but I don't know. But I really want to go into Black communities and revitalize them, put grocery stores in our communities, bring resources to our communities, revitalize them, and not in a way where it's being gentrified, because like gentrification is definitely a thing and it's moving Black folks out of their own communities. But I think that I want to try to revitalize communities in a way where I am engaging with community members, like actually talking to community members like, hey, what do y'all want to see in y'all community? And there are a lot of good organizations, especially in Milwaukee, you know, that do things like that. And I'm sure there's other local organizations in y'all own cities and towns that are doing boots on the ground work to revitalize communities and do community engagement. But that's the stuff that I want to do, because I'm just tired of seeing, like, I don't know, our communities not thrive and all of that. So yeah, I know this was like a rant about like college economically not helping the Black community, but that's my thoughts and that's my rant, because like I said, Black folks going to college, they put on more debt, number one. And then number two, when they get out of college, they're not reinvested into the Black community with whatever money they're making from their PhD or their master's. I don't know how much money I'm going to be making after my master's degree, but we'll see. But yeah, so I encourage everyone to, like, you know, try to reinvest in your communities and, you know, communities of color, especially because white folks, I feel like they don't have to have this conversation about reinvesting in their communities, because their communities are, I don't know. White folks do need to do their own type of organizing and get together and you know, unresolve all of the trauma that they've experienced. Not trauma, but more so like, you know, it's how like Black folks have gone through trauma through like slavery and stuff. I feel like their trauma is more so like ignorance and like hatred. That hatred and that ignorance trauma that's like in y'all system, white folks. I'm gonna need y'all to get together and learn how to undo that. But that's another rant for another time. But I think that's all my thoughts that I have about this. Like I said, this was a rant. There was no structure to this video. If you have any thoughts about like Black folks going to college or even just communities of color, do y'all think that like it helps communities? Do you think that communities of color or Black communities going to college, do you think that it really helps our communities? And if so, how? And like, how do you think that we can elevate our communities economically and build generational wealth and reinvest in our communities, redistribute wealth and all of that stuff? What are y'all thoughts about that? Because there can be opposing views and I'm open for discussion. But yeah, this is where my research lies in school and what I'm trying to do. And it's what I'm passionate about. So yeah, even though I am in college, you know, I'm not a big like advocate for it, and you don't need to go. Okay, you don't need to go if you don't have to go. But for me, I actually like learning and I like college, and you know, if you can get your degree for free, go ahead and do that. Okay, because I'm definitely, just a little side note, I'm not paying anything for my master's degree. So you know, you got to figure it out. You got to figure it out. For my bachelor's degree, you know, I wasn't so lucky for this master's degree. I'm not paying anything. So that is the nice part about that. And I'm not putting on any debt. So yeah, if you can find ways to not go into debt and go to college, do that. You know, you can get scholarships, you can get funding, etc. Do that. But if it's going to cost you too much and you're going to put yourself in too much debt, don't do it. It ain't worth it. It ain't worth it. But yeah, that's my rant. Thank y'all for watching my video today. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see y'all in my next video. Bye.